Welcome back. Today, we delve into Proverbs chapter 23. This chapter belongs to the 30 Sayings of the Wise, a collection that moves beyond short couplets into flowing poetic instructions. It serves as a manual for self-mastery, warning us that our appetites for status, wealth, and pleasure can become snares if not governed by the fear of the Lord. When you sit to eat with a ruler, note well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are given to gluttony. Do not crave his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 1-3. Solomon warns that social advancement often comes with a, quote, price of admission. The delicacies of the powerful are often instruments of manipulation intended to snare the guest. Placing a knife to the throat is a vivid metaphor for radical self-restraint in the presence of power. In ancient courts, a meal was a setting for political maneuvering. Today we face this in corporate power lunches or networking, where the pressure to fit in can lead to a loss of integrity if we prioritize status over our principles. Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Do not trust your own cleverness. Cast but a glance at riches, and they are gone, for they will surely sprout wings and fly off to the sky like an eagle. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 4-5. Solomon presents wealth as a, quote, fleeting vapor. Amassing capital is labeled a fool's errand because riches are migratory like birds. Whether gained honestly or through robbery, they have no staying power. Modern hustle culture equates exhaustion with success. Solomon offers a, quote, humbling corrective, urging us to desist from the frantic pursuit of money and instead seek the enduring wealth of character. Do not eat the food of a begrudging host. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the little you have eaten and will have wasted your compliments. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 6-8. This passage exposes the insincerity of a host whose heart is divided between public hospitality and private greed. Solomon warns that enjoying the table of a miser is like a false oath that eventually turns the stomach. We often encounter transactional relationships today where kindness is a mask for expectation. Proverbs warns that relational sincerity is worth more than a seat at an influential table. Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he will despise the good sense of your words. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 9. Wisdom requires the skill of the closed lip. Sharing prudent discourse with a mocker is a waste of spiritual resources, because the fool is morally obtuse and will repay good intentions with contempt. In the age of online flame wars, we often feel the need to correct every wrong opinion. Solomon calls us to the discipline of silence, recognizing that truth is a treasure not to be cast before those who only seek to tear it down. Do not remove an ancient landmark or encroach on the fields of orphans, for their Redeemer is strong. He will take up their case against you. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 10-11. Honesty in property rights is a spiritual act. Solomon warns that while the orphan may be physically weak, God is their strong Redeemer, Goel, and advocate, who will plead their cause. Today, this applies to corporate ethics and the protection of the marginalized in legal systems. Proverbs reminds us that God is actively involved in the marketplace, upholding justice for those who cannot defend themselves. Apply your heart to instruction and your ear to words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. Punish them with the rod and save them from death. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 12-14. Wisdom is not inherently possessed. It must be given and received. Parental discipline is an act of love designed to instill the self-control necessary to keep a child from the ways of death or Sheol. Modern parenting often avoids discipline in favor of total self-expression. Solomon argues that thoughtful correction is a healthy corrective that provides the spiritual grammar a child needs to navigate the adult world. My son, if your heart is wise, then my heart will be glad. Do not let your heart envy sinners, but always be zealous for the fear of the Lord. There is surely a future hope for you. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 15-18. Solomon addresses the internal envy that arises when the wicked seem to prosper. He points to a long-range perspective, asserting that a life built on the fear of the Lord results in an abundant life that continues after physical death. We are surrounded by images of flashy success achieved through compromise. Solomon calls us to trust that a right relationship with the Creator provides a future hope that material success cannot buy. Listen, my son, and be wise. Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkards and gluttons become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 19 to 21. Wisdom is characterized by moderation and self-control. Solomon identifies excess as a gateway to professional ruin, emphasizing that a lack of discipline leads to a loss of agency and eventual poverty. Our modern culture often celebrates overindulgence and escapism. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 21 warns that professional discipline is required for success. Without it, one's future is clothed in rags. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy the truth and do not sell it, wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 22 to 25. Truth is a supreme commodity, worth any sacrifice. To buy truth means to invest time and resources into acquiring it, while not selling it implies a commitment to integrity regardless of the worldly offer. In a post-truth era, convenience often overrides convictions. Solomon urges us to treat God's word as our most prized possession, more valuable than any digital asset. My son, give me your heart and let your eyes keep to my ways, for an adulteress is a deep pit and a wayward wife is a narrow well. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 26 to 28. Solomon returns to the personification of folly. Sexual infidelity is described as a narrow trench, a trap that is easy to fall into but nearly impossible to escape, leading to the chambers of death. In a hypersexualized digital environment, seductive speech is everywhere. Solomon calls us to give our hearts to wisdom, using her guidance as a shield against the entrapments of modern vice. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Those who linger over wine. In the end it bites like a snake and poisons like a viper. Proverbs chapter 23, verses 29 to 35. This is the Bible's most vivid description of addiction. Alcohol is a mocker that eventually strikes with the bite of a serpent, robbing a person of their senses and stability until they seek another drink despite their wounds. We see woe and sorrow today in the wreckage of substance abuse. Solomon provides a psychological mirror of the enslaving power of vice, reminding us that what tastes sweet initially can end with a mouthful of gravel. Proverbs chapter 23 tells us to buy the truth and do not sell it. It promises that if we choose self-control over appetite and wisdom over wealth, our path will be one of life indeed. Which area of your life needs the fountain of life today? Subscribe and join us next time as we explore the great power of chapter 24.